Trigger warning for mentions of suicide, grooming, and rape. I wasn't planning on making this a video. I frankly really don't want to make this a video. I'd rather this not go public, as I genuinely didn't expect the situation surrounding this to be as big as it was. And usually, I don't like airing out the SCC's dirty laundry like this. We usually deal with our own fairly quietly, and it doesn't become an everyone thing. But alas, everyone in the SCC vaguely knows of this situation, but it seems people are very curious as to the exact details of what happened, because we did lose a bunch of members kind of all at once. So against my better judgment, let me do the Lio convoy thing and kind of break it down for you. My stress levels are so high it's agitating my gallstones. I am not doing okay. Anyway. If you've been around these parts for any amount of time, I probably don't need to explain to you who V Omega is. However, if you're part of my audience who's arrived late to the party and is not in the SCC or has maybe not heard the tales, the long and short of it was that V was a particularly abusive individual who was outed in 2020 for grooming some members of the SCC, particularly minors, and even going as far as to non-consensually interact with one ex-member in a way that was frankly inappropriate. I don't think I need to explain what that entails. I think we all kind of get the insinuation here. During the initial allegations coming out, one member of the Cloud Palace by the name of Vigil79 was initially in defense of V, and while it's easy to look at this in retrospect and say that he was being a fucking idiot, I could understand the want to approach a situation about serious allegations like this with a level of caution. So, at the time, most of us in the group just kind of let him do his thing and continue being friends with him. At least initially. What most of us in the Cloud Palace remember being told was that Vigil did eventually cut V off after some time, so it wasn't too much at the forefront of our concerns. Fast forward to July 30th, 2023, and an ex-Cloud Palace member by the name of Buggy Boy reached out to another SCC member by the name of Pink Robot with concerns that Vigil not only was still friends with V, but that apparently he might have been coercing minors specifically to stay quiet about it all. Pink relayed those concerns to me. I played messenger between Pink, Buggy, and Vigil myself, until Pink brought up a pretty cogent point. Why would you keep someone who openly associates with a known groomer in your group? Well, when he worded it like that, yeah, why would I? But then recalling the talks of Vigil cutting V off, I had to make sure of something. So I asked Vigil if he was still in contact with V, even now. Vigil insinuated that yes, he was, and when further questioned about it, he left the Cloud Palace, and pretty much the rest of the SCC, so, you know, he's chosen the known groomer over the rest of us. Epic. I relayed what information I could to the rest of the palace, and that's when we learned that some people knew about this, and said nothing. These members were Dulsmic, or Bummer Patrol, Blazin' Hope, or Tiffy, Nav Station, or Pink Rose Knight, and Neko Shadows. There was a discussion had about all of this, and after consideration, we removed them from the group. It wasn't exactly a choice that I made lightly. Then Lio, who had caught wind of all of this, requested to have a sit down with the four the next night, and I obliged, but requested that we do this not in Senate, but in I guess what has become the SCC's own little Senate server, the SCC Courthouse. And he agreed. Right as I was preparing the call, that's when I caught wind that Keyblade Master was apparently wishing death upon another, well now also ex-Cloud Palace member by the name of Ellie Momeli. Specifically because Tippy and Neko Shadows, who were Key's best friend and girlfriend respectively, had been removed from the group. And so I requested that Key also join the courthouse so I could talk to him myself, because this is a repeated behavior of his, and we've had conversations about this in the past. That's the second part of the call that I'll play you all today. I do warn you, this was a pretty heavy call, like a lot heavier than most SCC members are used to or equipped for. This is a very unique situation, and as you'll hear throughout it, not a single soul was prepared to have the call that we did that day. I don't even think Lio was 100% prepared for everything. So, buckle in, and let's begin.
Then.
I'm... Yes. Okay, so I guess Neko Shadows...
Wait a minute, she's the only one that's, like, left,
I'm sorry, I'm very dead. I have not slept for like hours, so I'm gonna try my best.
Where'd I put it? There it is. We're just gonna wait and see if somebody else shows up, because we're supposed to have, what, 4 other people?
Well, the
It's
thing
Neko
is...
Shadows.
Yeah,
That's the only one we're waiting on.
I see.
Can I get
there we go.
By the way, can I
Yes.
get some water real quick?
Yeah,
I
everybody go ahead and get what you need, so we don't have to interrupt the call any further once it gets started.
I appreciate it.
Alright, sorry for taking a minute. I was playing a message to you, and I was trying to explain.
You are very hard to comprehend right now, Neko.
I'm sorry, it's something because of my earbuds, let me put them away. Alright, is this better?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Sorry, my phone died, so I had to move to my computer.
You're good.
Oh, so anyways, like I was trying to say, I'm sorry I'm a little bit late because a friend messaged me asking for my side of the situation, and I was just trying to explain it to him. I thought I had a little more time, but I guess not.
Alright. Alright. I just got my water.
Wait to see if everybody else is ready to go, so
yeah, I'm
don't want anybody to be unprepared.
Alright.
I have some tea with me, so.
Yeah, I'm all good. I've just been on standby for a couple hours.
Alright, let me see if one other person wants to hop in with us. Give me a moment.
Anyone in particular? Because the 4 people who were removed from the Cloud Palace were... like, they're all in here.
I'm aware.
Alright.
Alright.
And we'll wait a few minutes, and we'll go from there if I either don't get an answer or what off.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I'll go ahead and message Susie real quick, since I know that she's curious, as she is often.
Yeah, usually.
And who is tagging me in my server? Oh, random server user. Fantastic. While I'm waiting here before I get a response, because I don't want to be here too long, because I have this odd thing to do tonight called sleep. Let me check something.
That's fair enough.
Alright.
I am lucky my grandma came in when I did, because I was passed out, actually.
Alright, for clarification, at what time do you need to go to sleep?
Don't worry about it. That's my concern, not yours.
Alright.
Ah, that's what I goofed up on that.
Oh, wait, sit back here. Be careful, don't.
And save. Susie, if you would send them an invite, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, where are we? Wait, who's here? Or wait, are we going somewhere? Or is
Oh, I don't
What-
know.
No.
If I'm directing something to Susie, I'd imagine that would mean I'm talking to Susie.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah. Just send it. Send the Discord
Yep.
their way. All right.
Oh. Right.
And there she is.
All right, let me just write something down real quick. Okay. All right, I'm sure it's no secret to literally anyone here why I've asked Susie to gather all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So before we get started, I have some very basic questions, and I feel it is important for you guys to answer this. But before I go any further, is there anybody in this chat that has not heard me talk, that is not used to how I operate calls, who may not know what my one rule is?
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody not know what my one rule is?
I'm familiar.
It's honesty, right?
Don't lie to me. It does not matter how terrible the answer you give me is, but do not lie to me. Yeah, because it will be worse if you do, and I will always find out.
Oh, map disconnected.
I see.
Neff?
By the way,
Think-
you
I
did
think
not
their
give
net just
him
dropped.
the role.
What?
Susie.
Oh, right. Eaton can't speak. Almost forgot about
Yeah.
that.
You might need to disconnect and connect back.
Yeah. And you might need to reload.
There we go.
Cool.
Okay, so
Did Mav disconnect or did Mav bail?
I think they disconnected. This
Probably.
happens occasionally.
It happens very often.
Nev's internet is not the most stable.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I suppose I'll go ahead and get started and wait for Mav to show up after I ask. Dalsmic, there they are. Good, we can continue. Again, Mav, do you know my one rule?
Apologies, my internet's acting up.
That's fine, but you know my one rule, yes?
I did not get to hear that. My internet shut. My Discord. Repeat your one rule, please.
My one rule is do not lie to me, no matter what you had to say or as egregious as it is. If you lie to me, it will be worse, and I will always find out. There's always going to be someone either willing to tell on you or is scared of me for whatever reason. So don't lie to me. Now, to get started, this is going to be a somewhat invasive question, but I feel it's important to note, so I'm going to go down the list. Dalsmic, how old are you?
28.
Nav Station, how old are you?
22.
Echo, how old are you?
I'm 24.
And Tippy, how old are you?
26.
All right. Thank you all for that information. It's very important for this conversation. Now, I know that every single one of you has known people like Susie for a while and Heaton. Susie is a very, very sweet person. Susie has a hard time sometimes because of her very polite, agreeable personality of hitting people with a stick. Struggles with that. This is not a flaw, but this is something to be worked on. But I am not here to go at Susie because she didn't do anything wrong here. I would like to know from the top down how literally every single one of you actual adults who can vote and who can be drafted to die for your country thought it was a wise idea to know who this person who is associating with a rapist child predator. How would you know that they're associating with them, and why wouldn't you tell anybody? So we're going to go with the oldest first. Dalsmic, I'd like to know why.
So I knew because they had essentially been alluding to it for a while. It wasn't really a surprise to me. They got very uncomfortable at the topic of V being mentioned. Everyone already knew that they were very, very close from the get-go. When I made my video on Doodletones, they basically came to me and told me, hey, I can't watch this because you talk bad about V. And I was under the impression most people knew. The thing, though, is that I did tell people. The people that I did tell, though, have essentially told me that they just don't remember me saying it to them.
Who did you tell?
Apparently I was one, but I didn't remember.
I told Susie, I told Ellie, although that wasn't a call, so she tells me she just doesn't remember that. And then I told people yesterday in the Cloud Palace, around the time things were going down. I can't remember exactly what time it was, but that's the one thing that I want cleared, is I was not keeping this to myself. I did tell people. I just didn't tell everybody. And that was my mistake.
I will note that for the record. We'll come back to that in a bit. Mab Station.
Yes.
I would like to know your rationale.
For why I didn't tell people.
Yes, for how, number one, how you knew, and number two, why you didn't tell anyone.
Okay. So how I knew is my boyfriend is friends with one of these victims who found out, and they told me to keep it private. I'm willing to give screenshots and such of the group DM where I found out.
Your boyfriend is friends with one of V Omega's victims?
Yes, I was a former friend of V Omega, and so they met through me.
How old is the victim now?
I think the victim is either 18 or 19.
How old were they when they asked you to be quiet about it?
It was last year, so either 17 or 18.
Okay.
I think the rationale is that they thought they were the only person who knew about Vigelcio, because I didn't know that Vigelcio was really open about the V shit.
I
So
see.
I wanted to keep quiet for their sake. I told Doll about it because I wanted some advice at the time. It was also, and yeah, and so Doll and Firebolt, Doll, my boyfriend, Firebolt PT, because my boyfriend told me and Firebolt about it, but told us to keep quiet.
When was this?
This was in April of last year.
Okay.
Because I was looking through it. Because like I remembered I remember I got told and I forgot why I didn't say anything, or because normally I would, but then I looked through the DMs and remembered that, oh yeah, that's because that person told me to. The DM with the person, I'll get the screen share set up for that later.
I don't need that.
Okay.
So, Neko Shadows, you're up.
Okay. I think it was sometime last year, and I think it was around the time that the Crimson shit was going on, and he told me he was being very uncomfortable, and then he told me that he was, I can't remember if he said he was friends with me, but he definitely told me that he was still in contact with me. Now, I think I was initially quite disappointed in him, but then I thought about it for a while, and I assumed he was trying to help me be a better person, so I started talking to him again after that. I know that's not an excuse, but it is.
We'll get into that later. Right now, I want people's reasoning.
I thought he was trying to help me become a better person with keeping in contact with him, and so I essentially forgave him.
Okay.
I'm still
Tippy.
here. I'm just gonna mute real quick to eat something.
All right.
That's fine. Tippy, what's your
All right.
reason?
So my reasoning. Okay. Forgive me since I'm sore sleepy. Can you repeat the question at least? Like, why do I keep this? What was your reasoning?
What
for not telling?
was your? Okay, I'll be very clear here. You're on the spectrum, right?
Yes.
Find whatever you need to ground yourself so we can talk. Because I am not a man that is fond of having to repeat himself, and I know part of it's not your fault. I know that being on the spectrum can be a problem for focusing, so I am going to politely ask you this one time. Whatever helps you focus, take a moment and go get it, start it up, or do it so we can have this conversation, okay?
All right.
So I'll give you 1 minute to do that.
Okay. I drink water just to calm down for a bit. All right.
You good to go?
Yeah.
My question is, what was your rationale for not telling anybody about this?
I'm going to state this here. I wasn't actually okay, or I didn't like the idea of him being friends with V. So
Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay.
When I ask you a question, I want an answer to that question.
Mhm.
This is not Legend of Zelda. I'm not interested in side quests. I'm a Doom guy.
All right.
Okay? So
Mhm.
just answer the question I asked you.
I was going to tell, I believe, but the last time Vigil told me about this was like around like early last year or this year, and the reason why I didn't told anyone was because like I was dealing with a lot of mental stress, and the entire time it did not occur to me to be upfront to Susie about this.
Okay. Now we're going to go into another set of questions here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to start with Dalsmic, simply because Dalsmic said that he told other people. So my question to Dalsmic specifically is, if you told other people, which I will take currently at face value, if you did tell other people, at what point did you not look around and think that maybe you shouldn't be around people that are okay with a friend associating with a predator?
So that was, I mean, I apologize. Hang on.
Just
sorry,
tell
go
me
ahead.
the truth. Just tell me the truth. That's all I need.
No, I'm just trying to find a way to word it. Is all. This was something I talked about in the server yesterday before I left, but I think part of it was that it struck me as weird, but because I kind of already came to the assumption that they were affiliated, I think part of the rationale was I just assumed people were giving them the benefit of the doubt because they said that they were not okay with what V did, like what they said before. So I just kind of didn't really fight it. I wasn't really sure what to make of it when I heard it.
Let me put it in a very specific way then.
Yeah.
Have you ever had beef with somebody on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Who was it?
I've had beef with quite a lot of people.
Just give me one.
Johnson Hood Daypool. That's one I
All
can
right.
think of immediately.
Was this based off of moral values or just argumentation about something more minor?
Very minor.
Okay, let's go with somebody you beefed with concerning morals.
Okay. I'll go with Jar, I guess.
Okay, what did Jar do that offended you?
I'm
not using that word derogatorily. I want to be very clear there.
Yeah. No, I got you. Trauma gatekeeping.
Okay, so if you were beefing with Jar about something like that, specifically trauma gatekeeping, and you had a friend, an actual friend, that was friends with Jar and didn't take Jar to task on that, would you want them in your circle?
Not necessarily.
Why?
Because that would be a violation of my own personal ethics.
Yeah, it would be. I am not getting to you yet. I will ask you to be quiet until I speak to you again. Thank you. The thing I have trouble with here, Doll, is that you are literally the oldest person in this cavalcade of people who knew. And at no point did you pull yourself aside and say, I either need to ask better questions or I need to leave. Because this isn't just Ephraim. This isn't somebody who makes bad commentaries at the worst of times or maybe says out-of-pocket nonsense. This wasn't somebody who had a bad take or maybe was a bit racist. This is somebody who not only harassed and beat down verbally on people in this group. And keep in mind, before any of you else go on about your stories, I'm not a Cloud Palace member. I do not have the encyclopedic knowledge of all these backstories. So if you can, brevity can be the soul of wit here.
Mm-hmm.
But he also was a child predator and a rapist. This isn't some minor thing. These aren't just egregious crimes. They're horribly immoral things. And the best thing to do with somebody who's sexually harassed kids, if you can't get them in jail, is hope they get killed by something bigger and meaner. So that seems to me that there is a severe failure of awareness in general. There's one thing I have noticed, and this, much to Susie's joy, I don't get to put this on the commentary community, but just small communities as a whole, or communities in general, of too much follow the leader stuff. Way too much go with the flow. To the point to where people lose sight of their entire own morals. And to be very clear here, you all know I run a meaner server. You all know the type of nonsense I have to deal with. If you don't think for a second that somebody like Heaton hasn't gotten up in my face before over making a bad decision, you're dead wrong. You have to have that understanding of your own values to the point to where you can butt up against somebody who might be a peer, an equal, or even your better. Look them in the eye and say no. And then you go about your business. Every single one of you are in a sphere where you put out your opinions, your values, and you argue against other people. How this was something that was found acceptable by any of you is staggering. So I have Doll's answer. Doll never questioned anything, because Doll went with the flow. Mav, you're next.
Yes.
Why?
Like I said, the victim in question told me not to tell anyone, and I didn't want to break their trust. Especially because they were a close friend of both me and my partner. And I didn't...
The victim told you to not out somebody who is colluding with their predator?
Yes. I can show you the...
Again, I'm going to take your word for it currently. But you don't see the flaw in that logic?
Right.
When this person was preyed on, how old were they again? You said, what, 17?
Not when they were preyed on. That's when they told us not to...
When were they preyed on?
They were, I think, if I remember correctly, 15.
I'm trying to find the middle ground here. And the reason why I say try, because I've been in this doggone minefield for 5 years now. My knowledge of how these things work may be higher than you guys's, but at the same time, I'm also not stupid. And I know there's not a single person in this call who either hasn't had a friend or seen somebody who has been groomed. So let me make it crystal clear to all of you. There are times, and it sucks. It hurts. It tears at your soul at night. When a victim does not want the predator to get in trouble because they are still infatuated with their abuser. Has this victim ever had any counseling?
I don't know.
Then the answer is likely no.
The person in question, they told me that the reasoning that was given is because they didn't want... I'm gonna pull up the exact wording. Sorry, apologies.
And just because I'm the one that asked for this call, Susie, Heaton, if you think I'm getting out of pocket, get in my face about it.
That is what I am here for, good sir.
So far, I haven't heard anything yet.
Sorry, I have to get the... I'm just trying to look through everything to make sure I get the wording right. I do apologize.
I don't actually think the specific wording matters.
Okay, sorry.
And the reason
just-
why I don't think it matters, I will explain in detail.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do I put this in a way that you might understand?
Mm-hmm.
How do house robberies usually start, do you know?
No.
By casing the place. Being inconspicuous. Sometimes it'll be the person whose house they're going to hit is on the porch, and a lady who looks like she's pregnant comes up and starts chatting out, and it gets into conversation about how big the house is, how much was it, how many rooms you got there. And what that is a subtle way to case the house. And then later on, people break in. We are dealing with somebody. Yes, Nebula. We are dealing with somebody who is actively, happily friends with a child predator.
Mm-hmm.
For all you know, they're casing the place.
Yeah.
Because I don't buy for a second that they're trying to help the person. And we'll get into that shortly. Trust me.
I don't either.
So the point is, while I can 100% understand respecting a victim's wishes in so many places, in so many ways, you, as a functional human being, with at least some moral compunction, should have recognized that you don't let the devil in, and you don't let demons in either.
Mm-hmm.
Because one always leads to the other. So, you let this person run amok. You don't know who else they may have gotten around them, therefore getting them around V.
Right.
You actively let, using a victim's reasoning, somebody connected to a child predator into a server that you know has minors in it.
Right.
You are an adult. You might not be as old as some of the others here. But like I said, you're old enough to vote, to smoke, to drink, to die for your country. You're old enough to recognize that you are an adult capable of making adult decisions, regardless of what other people tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I have had victims tell me, I don't want this going public.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't make it public. I just report the thing to the police. If I have all that information, I don't need the victim to tell me that it's okay. It is my duty. What I feel it is an excuse. And you can disagree if you want, and so can everybody else. But I've been down this road before. Echo, it's your turn.
Okay. Well, like I said, I thought he was trying to help me become a better person, and I guess I just yes.
What are their qualifications?
I'm not
Here, let me
sure.
cut to the quick. Susie, how old is the dirtbag?
Vigil?
Yeah.
I think Vigil is part of the 26 Club?
No,
the
he's
an-
25.
No?
The answer
okay.
then would be none. No qualifications for this individual. No ability in corrections, in psychology, in psychiatry. The idea these people have of making someone a better person is having happy little Discord calls where they affirm them and tell them, well, you're not so bad, buddy. You only groomed some kids and sexually assaulted somebody. How do you fix that? This idiot probably still leaves skid marks in their underwear because they don't know how to wipe right and they don't know how to do their own laundry. How in the name of God did you buy that as an excuse?
I can see it's not an excuse.
It was convenient, wasn't it?
I guess.
I'm going to hit a little low here. And what I said to Heat and Susie, definitely, if you think I'm going too far. But I do not want to hear dick about your spat with the purple hair cat person when this is the stunts you pull. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
Because that person's a special breed of stupid and malicious. But they didn't go after kids, and they weren't friends with somebody who went after kids, while somebody like you and other people here looked the other way or tried to find reasons for why they shouldn't tell people. I'm done speaking to you currently. Tippy, you're next. And I want to be very clear real quick before we start, because like I said, I'm not stupid. And people talk to me. So I want to be very clear about a couple things here. I'm going to hit a little mean. You're not my princess. You don't hold a special place in my hierarchy. So if you're dumb enough to raise your voice at me, I'm a lot louder and a lot meaner than you. I am not here to hear about I'm already beating myself up. Do you understand me?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Continue, please.
So, I remember Vigil saying the exact same thing as they said to Nekos and Mav. In my case, though, I was trying to get Vigil away from V, as I did not approve of of that, and I was just telling him time and time again to not be friends with V. And
Cool. That's all well and good. How long was that? Between you finding out and you trying to help them, how long did that take?
2 years.
2 years.
I was worried about Vigil because
I'm not. And you shouldn't be either. Go ahead, Heaton. I saw you unmute. Go ahead.
You
Yeah.
knew for 2 years?
I was
For 2 years, you knew and you sat on this.
I didn't sign on it.
You absolutely sat on it. Telling us would have been not sitting on it, Tippy.
All right.
So what are your qualifications, Tippy?
None.
That's what I thought. So in 2 years, you're trying to get Vigil away from V Omega. You fail every single time, and you just think to keep doing it? You just liked being around Vigil, didn't you?
No, I don't.
Oh, don't even. Don't tell me no, you didn't.
I cared about him to where I didn't want him to get hurt.
No, I'm gonna take this one. Yeah,
Right.
you know what? Tippy, I don't like it when people get hurt either. He was involving minors in this. Okay.
I didn't knew about this.
You didn't need to know. You didn't need to know. You didn't want Vigil to get hurt, but Vigil is out here associating with V, putting God knows who else in danger, telling God knows who else.
Mm-hmm.
And like, this is the thing about this that blows my mind, that's pissing me off, that got me so fucking mad in the Cloud Palace server the other night, is that none of you, not a single one of you, has any concept of how fucking bad this could have been. You don't know what you don't know why he was telling those kids not to tell them. Like Lio said, he could have been casing the joint. Those kids could have ended up in contact with V at any point, and you could have put a stop to that 2 years ago.
I understand, and to that I
I'm gonna-
apologize. There's no excuses.
Tippy, are you familiar with any scripture by any chance?
No.
Then let me impart to you something from it. Do not give to dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to swine. If you do, they may trample them under feet and turn and tear you to pieces. The Sparks notes of that is don't give help to people who reject it. After the first month, you should have wised up. Tippy, you were 24 when that started. Excuse us, Jace.
No, Jace is fine. They're an admin. They're just in here to listen.
My apologies. Anyways, you were 24 when that started. You are 26 now.
Mm-hmm.
And you thought you could help this person? How many people have you gotten away from dangerous people? You got a tally for me?
I have none except for Vigil.
So let me be... then it's none, because it's not even Vigil. You couldn't even get Vigil away from them.
Yeah, Vigil chose him over us.
So let
And
me be
that's
clear
what
here.
scares me.
I have been in this for 5 years. 5 years! Dealing with child predators and monsters. I struggle with getting people away from them. And I've got a lot more teeth than you.
Yeah, Key, we'll come back to you later. Sorry, Key.
Key unmute.
Key,
Oh.
I need you to leave.
Oh, Key can't unmute.
Key unmute. Say one
alright.
thing that I want to be very clear.
Okay.
Key, you're gonna have to hop out and hop back in.
Because I've got a
Alright.
discussion. I have a discussion with Key later.
Cool. Key,
Yes.
are you paying attention to me right now?
Yes.
I don't want to hear any white knight nonsense from you in this call. Do you understand me?
Understood.
Mute yourself until Susie is ready to address you. Thank you. My point was not self-aggrandizement, because it is a miserable job that I do not recommend to anybody unless you have a really, really tough constitution, or, like me, you're dumb enough to keep damaging yourself because you can't stand this type of stuff. Your responsibility, the responsibility of everyone here that was failed, was communication about what's right. How do adults fail like this? I don't get it. And you know what? I don't know who all was in this call, but we literally just had a call with Ephraim about a week or so ago where I went very clear about the stance on predators and how to address them and what constitutes as one. And you were in that call, Tippy!
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm yelling.
It's
What
fine.
your actions, everyone's actions could have done is cause an entire deluge of problems. And we might still have them. And then we have Susie here, who has to deal with enough crap every single goddamn day, from her health to her family to random weirdos on the internet, and you guys all fail her like this? Would except maybe Dawsmick? What in the world is wrong with you people? Does the internet really just dull everybody like this? Does it make you all think that these type of actions are just oops? Well, maybe he can be better. He can be a better person. You want to know how V becomes a better person? By turning himself into a statistic tonight. Hopefully, in a manner that does not cause other people to have to clean up. I recommend a crocodile farm. Pure cleanup right there. They'll get rid of him real quick. Unacceptable behavior. Every single one of you. And because you're adults, you're darn right. I may not know any of you, but I sure would have expected better. Embarrassing.
The thing about this that fucking infuriates me more than like, and Lio has no context for this, but Susie and I do, is all of you for 2 years you sat in a chat full of his victims, people you have had to soothe and people you have had to help and bring through this, and you knew that there was somebody in our group watching them talk about this man who hurt them, and you knew that he was sitting there listening to them and going back to the man who hurt them.
The truth of the matter is, V's not scared of you guys. V isn't scared of Doll, not scared of Mav, not scared of Nico, not scared of Tippy, because now he definitely knows you'll keep a secret. Here's what I can promise you has happened. I can promise you the vid dork, the pedophile defender, because that's what he is. I can promise you that he sent screencasts of everything all of you have ever said about V to him. I can promise you that. And now it's starting to make sense why that dirtbag thought he could show up under a pseudonym last year before he got in call with me. And I want to be clear here, because I don't know how many people may listen to the call. I think Susie uploaded the whole thing, but I flat out told him if he shows up again, I'm going to do what people keep saying I'm actually doing, which I'm not. I am going to dox him. I am going to let people know who he is, what he's done, and where he lives. Because I hate him that much. And he never hurt me. He hurt children. And he hurt people that I care about. That is not okay. And I haven't had the history with all these people. I don't need to have basic human compassion and empathy. And not playing pretend that I'm a magical internet therapist that can walk someone away from a predator. It's hard enough when it's one of their victims, and now people are making excuses for their friends. If I find, and actually Heaton can contest it, if I find anybody in Senate that is friends with a predator, they're gone.
Instantly.
Gone.
Fucking instantly.
Immediately. Sometimes we might bring them in call and rip their faces off. Either way, they're gone. Gone, gone, gone. Now, I know Tippy sat on this for 2 years. How about the rest of you? How long did you sit on it?
Like I said, April of last year. I said that earlier.
Have to unmute next.
Oh, sorry. Like I said, I told people as early as this year.
Echo.
I think it was sometime last year, I think around August.
You know what really chaps me about all of this? With the exception of maybe Dawsmick, if what he is saying is true. If every single one of you would still have been quiet if you didn't get tattled on. There are no points awarded, no thanks given for addressing it after you've been outed. After your dirty laundry has been flying on the flagpole, you don't take it down and clean it, and then expect people to act like it's always been clean. That's the biggest problem here. But you know what? Susie here, she doesn't ask for much, I don't think. A little trust be nice. Now, whether or not Susie or Heaton or anyone else wants to take the work of trying to rebuild that trust is up to them. And to make it clear, I will pass no judgment on them for whatever they choose. That is their right, and I cannot and will not interfere. But to me, I think all of you need to operate in reality. I don't want to see dick from any of you about your opinions on things. What do you think someone's been wrong about? Any of that. For a good long time. And since I know he's such a punching bag issue here, for lack of a better term, because I think he's due criticism, as even I am, if I see any of you getting up in arms about some stupid take Jar does when you pull stunts like this behind the scenes, shut it!
I like after the fucking Crimson shit, after we had him leave and leak stuff and cause problems and start fires, after we had this whole issue about who in the Cloud Palace we could trust because they were just willy-nilly running around tossing shit out, this, you came in and sat on this for a year to 2 years? Unfucking fathomable. We had this problem over and over again. Constantly we had this problem. Lio has no idea. We had this problem with Crimson. We had this fucking problem with Ray. We had this problem over and over and over again, where people would come into our circles, leak shit, and leave. Over and over, trust has been a problem. Communication has been a problem. Constantly, it's been a problem. And you, like, I know, I'm not gonna get on you about it now because it's fucking irrelevant, but like, I know that people in the Cloud Palace have problems communicating about small, little shit, so unlike Lio, I'm fucking absolutely abysmally disappointed. I'm not fucking surprised. Like, you guys, half of the Cloud Palace can't communicate that they have, like, a problem with somebody's tone in a conversation about Pokemon. I'm not shocked that you wouldn't communicate about something like this. And that's the most disappointing and irritating part of all of it. I went up to fucking bat for half of you to Lio a couple of days ago, where I was like, worst case scenario, they're a little soft, and that's better than nothing. And now I've got fucking egg on my face.
I don't think you do.
I'm fucking...
Not to me, at least.
No, but to myself. Like, I cannot believe that you would be so fucking wildly irresponsible about it. I can't. Like, just after everything that all of you have seen, that you would sit here, that some of you have been a part of and some of you have been victims of, that you would sit here and be like, yeah, I'm gonna keep this from everyone else. Nobody else needs to know about that. Like, for whatever fucking stupid reason. Like, come on. We're fucking grown-ups. We're supposed to be setting the bar for the rest of the community. No fucking wonder that so many people have been having issues with the community lately if this is the kind of shit that we just let pass.
And for the
Wild.
record, I want you all to be aware of the grace that Susie's given you. And you might be wondering, well, Lio, what do you mean by that? That's weird. I'm in call with you, and I'm getting my entire life torn asunder. Whether some of you may be rolling your eyes at me or whatnot, because I sound like an anime villain or whatever. The reason I say that is because we could have had this call in Senate, where you'd be having, at this point, probably about 150 people listening in on. And maybe some of the mods would have come in and taken shots at every single one of you in ways that I wouldn't. But I also wouldn't stop them at this point. Susie's showing you that kindness I wouldn't have. I gave her the option, and she, in her kindness, chose to have it here. You're getting off luckier than you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I do recommend all of you stay out of Cloud Palace. If Susie takes a vote and lets you guys back in at some point in the future, as I said before, that is Susie's decision. I will not judge her.
Seconded.
I will tell her, however, to keep an eye on literally every single one of you, because you have been willing to hide things about the worst of person. You know the type of person you try to help? Somebody who articulates their points poorly, or might have a bit of a bout of anger or something, or maybe some mood disorders, or I'm not going to be mean when I say this, so please understand that. Like somebody like Nezzy, right? Nezzy's great. Help her when you can, because she needs help. Nezzy is small and soft. It's okay. Not somebody who sits there and says, yeah, I'm friends with a child predator. I'm totally going to help him. He's going to be my first Pokemon badge. Unbelievable. Inexcusable. Unless some of you have things to say, or unless Susie or Heaton have anything else to say, with the exception of, I'm guessing, Key, maybe Tippy, if Tippy's involved in that, you're dismissed. Unless these two have something to say.
I got one thing I want to say. If people want to leave, that's okay. But it's something that I didn't get a chance to say earlier.
Go for it.
Because you want honesty, and
I do.
I'm already seeing the just the shit that's going on here. I want to go on record and say I did confess to this too, to multiple people. It is in Susie's DMs. But I'm recognizing just how terrible this all is. So Vigil had come to me before about V. This was after I knew, though. Are you? I guess for context for this, Lyra, are you familiar with the furry YouTuber Kit the Soulless?
I am.
So I was looking into information about him, and Vigil had come to me about this person and gave me some information about the situation with Joni, and I corroborated that with Joni, and it seemed to be good. And I think last year, I don't remember exactly when, it must have been in June, Vigil came to me in a panic because V was apparently having a fucking tantrum about being claimed to be neat. And apparently V wanted to talk to people, so I did extend that, mostly because I was curious when they asked me, and I wanted to get some more information on Kit. And I did get into contact with V, and I learned that they were very upset about it, and I offered, hey, I'll clear up that allegation for you. And then I got a little bit more context for some of the Kit stuff. Not that I fully trusted him, but it was still an opportunity to learn more about that. And pretty much right away, I just regret even doing that.
Good, because you want to know the one response you should always give somebody who you know has preyed on children that comes to you for help?
Absolutely not.
No, it's, why aren't you dead yet?
Definitely
That's
better. Yeah.
And I know this is a problem in wider commentary as well, because I had to get on freaking Lagovert for the same nonsense. And it's one reason why Coyote is no longer in our circle. The whole, I'm going to talk to the weirdo. I'm going to talk to the child predator. I'm going to get information. Screw them. If you know what they've done, they've been outed already, don't talk to these people. Don't show them basic humanity. The only basic humanity you should show them is when you speak about them, you use their proper genders. That's literally it, and nothing more.
Well, that's why I'm telling you right now, because this
I appreciate the honesty.
This was eating away at me for a while, and I did confess to people. It is on record in Susie's DMs that I confessed to that, so this isn't just like a hearsay. There is evidence of that. You could take my word on the other people because they're saying they don't remember, but I am putting it on record now. I just want to say right now, so that it's on record too. I don't know if you're recording or not. Doesn't really matter to me. That my softness, weakness, and just not great response to any of the stuff that goes on. I'm taking your advice. I have told Susie I'm not going back to the Cloud Palace. I have gotten rid of basically every server that could be affiliated with commentary, drama, and all of this, with the exception of this server because I'm just leaving. But I was honestly expecting you to say worse things to me or have worse propositions. But my solution to this is just never come back to any of this. I'm quite frankly, I realize that I'm just not mature enough to handle it. Sorry, go ahead.
If I had found out you were aiding and abetting this individual directly, if I had found out you were doing that with V, my response would have been for you to find the nearest bridge and jump. So if that's what you were expecting, that's what would have happened if I find out that you were collaborating with V. And I don't mean just the conversation you admitted to having. I mean actually collaborating with this dirtbag. So, the fact that you have been honest, to the best of your ability, telling me things I did not know, is appreciated. So, does anybody else have anything to say to Dawsmick before he is dismissed?
No.
Nope.
All right, you're dismissed, Dawsmick. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, of course. You guys
Take care.
have a good one, and I am sorry.
Mav, you're up next. You got anything else to say?
No, I don't. I'm trying to word this right.
You're an adult. Put your heels together and talk.
I don't think anything else I will. I don't
Susie Heaton, do you have anything else for Mav?
I mean, my last thoughts for all of you in general, which is Susie's gonna be more charitable, and honest to God, Lio's more charitable than I am. I don't fucking think any of you should be allowed anywhere fucking near the Cloud Palace ever again. Quite
I want to
frankly.
be clear. That is my value as well, but I'm just telling this very bluntly because I'm not going to put that on Susie.
No, I'm not going to put it on Susie either. But far as I'm concerned, I don't think it should have. My props to Susie's generosity and grace is that I would have. There wouldn't have been a conversation in the vent chat. It would have been who knew. You would have answered. You would have been banned. The fact that you had even the slightest opportunity to air a secondary side is grace that I am baffled Susie had the patience to provide you. I'd have given you fucking nothing. There wouldn't have been a conversation because as far as I'm concerned, there's no conversation to have.
And you know what? The only way I would have accepted any sort of reason is if one of these people had directly threatened your families. Because I do have some grace for that. I do understand that. Everybody on the internet, for the most part, who doesn't have a well understanding of how things work, are terrified of being doxxed or their families threatened, especially when they've never been in that position before. That is the one grace I could have given any of you if that's what you had told me. But you know what? You didn't. None of you were threatened. I can understand somebody making bad decisions under duress of their family or themselves being threatened, but that's not what even happened here. And you know what? Now that I think of it, even if it was, I still wouldn't have in this case, because it's V freaking Omega. The dude all but wets himself if he hears my voice. That's the guy anybody be scared of? Are you kidding me? So no, that one caveat even would have been applicable in here. I rescind that statement. But since we're done with Mav, you are dismissed. Neko, you have anything to say?
I would just like to say that after the Vigil stuff got outed yesterday, like I was not aware at all of the shit involving the miners. And then after that was outed, I realized the gravity, like at least part of the gravity.
Stop. You knew who V Omega was, yes?
Yes.
You knew what V Omega did, yes?
Yes.
That should have been enough.
Well, I guess just to cut to the chase, I confessed to Susie of my own accord. It's on record in our
She did.
DMs, so.
Good.
Yeah,
That shows at least a little bit of
would-
character.
Yeah, I actually would not. This conversation would have been one less person smaller had Neko Shadows not come to me in DMs about it.
But Neko, did you do it because it was the right thing to do, or did you do it because you knew you'd be named eventually?
I knew it was the right thing to do.
Well, I suppose time will tell. But unless somebody else has anything else to say to you, you are also dismissed. I'm not hearing anybody say so, so you are dismissed.
Okay. Thank you. I'll be out.
Now, Susie, do you need Tippy for your call with Key?
No. Key, I've got words for Key specifically on my own. Tippy, I don't think I'm gonna need for this.
Tippy, do you have anything else to say?
Looking back in hindsight, I wish I could have informed sooner, but my naiveness, carelessness, and carelessness towards the situation got the better of me. It was irresponsible, and to that, I am very sorry, and there is no excuse. And I am gonna work my way to just learn and improve.
We'll see. And by we'll see, I mean we will not see. Because that is not what I'm going to keep an eye on you about. If you improve, it's on your own. You're dismissed. Susie, are you sure you want to handle Key all by yourself?
I mean, this is not the first time that I've done it. But if you guys
Well-
want to sit and watch me get mean, I guess you guys are free to.
I'll stick
All right.
around. I'll keep you in line, Suze. Don't even worry about it.
Alright, well if you need anything, like, do you take issue if we interject if something gets stupid?
No,
Okay, cool.
it'll be fine.
Real quick, Key, unmute.
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm ashamed to admit it, but I'm 22.
Then I expect you pay very close attention to my words. I expect you to show Susie respect. You will not raise your voice to her. You will not make excuses. You will not lie to her. And you will show her the kindness that she is owed for even having this conversation with you. Do you understand me?
I understand.
Good, because if at any point you get stupid in this call, even if Susie gets mad at me about it, I will find where your throat is. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Good. You have the floor, Susie.
So, Key, what is this I'm hearing about you wishing death upon Ellie?
What?
Yes, I said that in a private server. No, there is no excuse. I was out of line. I genuinely
Okay,
said that.
that's well and good and all, but why do we keep having this kind of conversation? Because didn't we have a very similar conversation? Not exactly point for point, but didn't we have a very similar conversation surrounding Avi, just last year or the year before?
Yes, we did have that.
So, why are we back here? Why are we back at square one?
I
And
don't.
I also want to
No.
stress...
No. Hang on. You just what?
No.
You better gather your gut dang thoughts and answer these people before you piss me off.
I was just upset. I was just furious, okay?
Furious about what? Were you pissed at her that she put Tippy in her fucking place? I'm so fucking weary of hearing about this bullshit from you. I'm so tired of it. I'm so fucking exhausted of constantly hearing about you doing fucking closed door bullshit behind other people's backs because you're too much of a fucking coward.
Ephraim, excuse us.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ephraim. Maybe not right now.
You are too much of a fucking coward to actually confront people to their fucking faces, Kate.
Right. I am one.
So, and I'm really trying hard not to take away from Susie here, because I think she's on the right path. Key, how tall are you?
Around 6 feet.
What's your general weight?
254 pounds.
You got any training?
I take walks daily.
I just tore Tippy's face off in this call. You want to try taking shots at me, big man?
No, sir, I do not.
I didn't. Then don't ever be dumb enough to run your mouth about other people. Ellie is a very sweet individual from what I've seen. And from what I know about Ellie, they don't tend to tear into people unless they are pushed in a goddamn wall. So let me be very clear here. If I catch, not just one moment, Susie. If I catch you running your mouth like this behind the scenes, I will be your problem.
Okay. So again, we can put aside the fact that we've been here before, Key. We can put that aside. You do realize, like, Ellie has very recently attempted on her life, right? So you going into, I guess this was either a chat or like Neko Shadows' DMs or something like that, because they somehow fell on my lap. Looking at Ellie's Twitter and saying, and I quote, "I hope you kill yourself, you fucking whore." I mean, Key.
Oh, you scrawny fucking piece of shit! What the fuck is the matter with you? First, you motherfuckers sit back and do this bullshit on her when after her fucking father passes away. Now this?
Yeah, and I just don't understand. And apparently, according to Umbris, like, you were also like under this presumption that like I had ill will against all of these people too? Like that like I was out to cancel Tippy and Neko Shadows and Dalsmic and Mav, like that I was out here trying to make this a public spectacle? Like how low do you think of me, buddy?
You what?
If you don't stop stuttering, I will find your tongue for you.
Okay, I don't. Look, I was just
Hold on. I want to address something. If the only time you find your tongue is when the man is speaking to you, you got some issues to address. I told you you are going to respect Susie the same way you respect me. Find your tongue.
I will. Look, Doodle, I wasn't doing okay. I had a lot of stress was pushed on top of me.
And I on the one hand I understand that, but on the other, like, would it not have been better to like step away or something like that, and like you usually do, instead of going into a chat and wishing Ellie would fucking kill herself, or go around and again, like, give these weird conspiracy, this weird conspiracy, or like throwing around these rumors that I'm just out here like ready to throw people who I also consider friends under the bus at just like because of this situation.
I didn't. It's like the whole thing just. I was very upset by the whole thing, and I just assumed the worst, and when I shouldn't have. In fact, I should have not said anything. Since.
Excuse me. I'm gonna step in again here. And the reason I am isn't because I don't think Susie can handle you. I think Susie could handle you blindfolded with one hand behind her back. But because there is a thing you keep saying that I am tired of hearing. I was in a bad place. The log off button was easy to find. We are not here to hear you self-immolate yourself. We are not here to hear you talk about, woe is me, I should have known. You don't get to throw the lashes on yourself. You will sit there like a man, and you will address things properly. And again, you will show these people the same respect that you are clearly showing me, because I am also tired of people only listening when I talk. Yeah, I got the deep, scary voice, but you know what? These are people you've wronged. I know Susie well enough, not as well as Heaton does, to where when people came to her about Medicare having cancer, asking if she thought it was a good thing, for her to look at them flabbergasted. And that's somebody who actually hurt Susie one way or another. And your response to this is, I thought you would? Don't give me that crap. Just be honest for once in your life. And just admit you have piss poor impulse control. You run your mouth. And you don't know when to shut it.
I'm also gonna tag in here for a second. Yeah, I bet you were in a fucking bad place, Key. You know who else was in a fucking bad place? Not that fucking long ago? Ellie! She was in there twice because of you motherfuckers. Because you shitheads in the fucking Cloud Palace ganged up on her ass. And now you're pulling this stupid bullshit because she put your fucking work wife in her place?
And we talked about this. I want to say we did talk about this literally yesterday. I don't remember if you were in call or not, but I literally brought up the fact that I was, like, concerned over how people treated Ellie in the vent chat. When she was grieving over her father, and people like Buggy and a few others were telling her to pick a better time to grieve.
I was there for that, as a matter of fact. I'm fucking weary of it.
I was telling that to Key. Like, we brought that up in call yesterday, because everyone was in the I'm Screaming chat. That was literally something that I brought up, and other people kind of reflected on and realized was wildly inappropriate. In fairness, some of the people who were involved were, at the time, were kids, but still, like...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, Susie. No, go ahead, Susie. Sorry.
No, I think that's more or less the end of my thought process. I might start rambling if I'm not cut off a little bit.
Key, you're on the spectrum, yes?
Yes.
I'm not saying that to demean you. I'm saying this to make a point. What is your special focus thing?
I really enjoy video editing.
How do you split something on the timeline?
Oh, well, you just press the C button on the keyboard, or just get the razor tool and your mouse on top of the video clip and click it.
Isn't it interesting how you know that off the top of your head, but Susie has to come to you twice about your piss-poor behavior towards Ellie? It's fascinating, isn't it?
It's like Ellie, Avi, pretty much anyone who has stood against, honestly, Tippy at any given, Tippy or Donnie at any given point.
So if I were to... Go ahead, Heaton.
I was going to say, one sec. If I would also like to recall correctly, because I'd like to make sure that I'm remembering correctly, I do believe you also got caught back-talking me some time ago.
Yes.
Yeah. I will also point out and notice that this is something that I think is very fucking telling, because Ellie pointed this out last night, and I would actually like to elucidate, if we're here and this is the situation, is that much like with Lio, where you motherfuckers will shut up the second he speaks, but not when Susie speaks, I have also noticed that you will shut up when I speak. I find it very telling that the person that you went after for going after Tippy was Ellie. When I came after her just as hard, I just didn't raise my voice to her physically. But there's no manifesto in my DMs. So I am noticing very particularly, and this is why I'm not totally willing to buy that you were in a bad place and that's why you did it, because you picked a fight with a person you knew was vulnerable. Because you know, after last time, that you are not going to fucking step to me.
Are you and Tippy in an actual relationship?
No, we're just friends.
Oh my god.
Like,
You know,
in fact,
every morning, subconsciously or consciously, I pray to God to give me patience. The reason why I don't pray to him to give me strength, because I'd use it to kill people like you at this point. You want to know why I'm saying that? As LARPy as it might sound, because I am just pissed at this point. Is half of me wants to get Tippy back in here so I can make her cry, and you sit there and do nothing because you're not about to open your mouth to me, are you? Pick that fight. Or do you only do it when people can't see it, you gutless coward?
Because he did it to Avi, too. You went in his... I got shown the fucking bullshit you sent to Avi.
Yeah, we've had the conversations about the manifestos before.
I would presume we've had them twice. We're gonna have a quick one a third time, because this is a recurring fucking pattern with you, and it's pissing me off. It's partly why I'm not willing to buy the I was in a bad place excuse, because I've noticed you do one thing very consistently, and it's you try and keep it behind closed doors. You post it in private servers. You post it, in my case, behind a private account. You do it in Avi's DMs and ask him not to show people, because traditionally, I have found that when people think they are doing something wrong, they try to hide it. And that happens every time. Every time we have a problem with you, it's because you are doing it someplace where the person you are talking about cannot see it. I have had problems with Avi. I have gotten into fights with him about things. And when I got angry with him, I said those things to his face when I was upset. I then went to him afterwards and told him, hey, I'm sorry, we got heated, that was too far. I do not talk about people behind their backs. I do not like to take the back door. I will come right up front and knock. Because regardless of how I feel about something, regardless if I am in a bad place, regardless if I am upset, I will bring up that problem to them. What you are doing is duplicitous, which is why I don't believe that it's a heat of the moment issue with you. I think you're just a fucking coward.
And I'm going to back up Heaton on that. You know, one thing I've noticed about people online, they really don't like their DMs being leaked. Now, I understand why some people don't, because they like privacy. But you know, whenever one of my DMs have been leaked to anybody, you know what my response is, Key? Okay. Because there's nothing I'm going to say in private that I will not publicly. So I'm going to get a little crass here. Hey, Key, you got a pair of balls on you?
yes, though at this point they are going to die.
I don't need your self-deprecating humor. Do you understand me?
Yes.
Good. We're not here for hee-hee-ha-ha time. This isn't a Family Guy cutaway joke. You have dicked up multiple times now and been given more chances than I would give you. And that's saying something, because I'm the moron who keeps giving clowns like Coda chances. Not that I do now, but I gave way too many then as well. If you're not using them, if you're not being an actual man, or heck, let's take gender out of the equation, somebody with integrity, donate them. In fact, donate the whole getup. Plenty of trans people will be happy to take it. You're certainly not using it. Absolutely disgusting behavior.
You got anything else, Susie? At this point, we're just stuffing the locker in a hole.
I'm happy with that. Because you know, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I want you to genuinely thank Susie for. Right after I say it, I want you to thank her profusely. This wasn't in Senate. Because you know what would have happened if you were in Senate, boy? I know you don't live by yourself. You live with your mom, don't you?
And Dad.
Guess who we would have gotten on this call?
Oh.
Yeah! Your testicles just went right up in tight of you, didn't they? How do you think he responded the way you act online?
He'd be very
You'd be very, very angry. He'd probably take your internet from you, if not worse. I want you to genuinely lavish Susie with thanks for the fact that she didn't choose Senate for the venue.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you.
I just... I thought I had more to say, but it seems like Heaton and Lio kind of said everything that I was going to.
I am sorry. I am angry. I do not like people like this. And frankly, I am tired of people trying to use you as a freaking wiping pad. That's also why I get irritated when people constantly talk over you in calls, which is why I try not to. So here's what I think needs to happen, Key. Here's the truth of the matter.
Yes.
You are going to apologize. In fact, Heaton, is Ellie around?
You know what? Let me go see. I will see if I can retrieve her. Give me one moment.
Because here's what's going to happen. If Ellie's able to come in here, you are going to apologize to her. And I want a genuine apology. I do not want to hear an iota of excuses. I was in a bad place. And then you are going to apologize to Susie. And if I, Lio Convoy, find out that you are pulling this scumbag crap again, you will be my problem. I won't involve Susie. I won't involve Heaton. I will do what I do. And I'm a lot meaner. I do not play by all the rules these people tend to set up because they are far better natured and like dealing with basic nice things. They want to have conversations about their thoughts on One Piece or Pokemon or their OCs. I'd imagine by now they're tired of dealing with Cloak and Dagger dorks like you. Do we have an understanding?
Yes.
Good. So we're going to wait for a few minutes and see if Heaton brings back a friend. And you're going to sit there with your head in your hands until she shows up.
I believe she is at work.
Well then.
Okay.
You, Key, are going to apologize to her right now, and it will be passed to her. Do a good job.
Ellie, I am sorry for ever telling you, for ever saying you should kill yourself. I was impulsive. I was impulsive.
Yeah, you're remembering what I told you, didn't you? I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear impulsive. I want an apology from you!
I'm sorry, Ellie! I'm sorry I ever told you to kill yourself! Sorry for talking behind your back!
And now to Susie.
I'm sorry, Susie, for doubting you! I'm sorry for spreading rumors about you! I'm sorry for doing this Cloak and Dagger crap!
Susie, are you satisfied?
Sure.
I'm heading to my chat. Fuck this noise. I'm done.
You're dismissed. I'm gonna go join Heaton.
Holy shit. What a call, Jace.
I don't have my headphones right now, but I have been sitting here just listening to this. Like, holy... Lio is fucking terrifying.
I understand why people find him terrifying now.
Yeah, no shit! Jesus Christ!
Well, so, what do we do now? Well, personally, I wouldn't say that anyone has to cut off Tippy Neko Key Dollar Math. Personally, I'm not really a fan of the isolationist route myself, having it had to happen to me, but I will mostly leave that up to you guys. Barring Keyblade Master, everyone was, well, straight up told to quit commentaries, and Dull, Neko, and Mav all agreed. Tippy thought it would have been a good idea to think about starting a new commentator group, and that was a whole ordeal in the courthouse, but eventually she dipped after being chewed out about it. What's to come of her? I don't know. Same goes for Keyblade. I have no idea what to do with that man. I haven't even removed him from the Cloud Palace members list as of writing this because I'm just that confused as to what the best course of action is here. He's probably going to get removed, but I'm still kind of processing everything fully. For those outside looking in, I promise we're not usually this messy. I know it's kind of hard to believe given what you've heard today, and that's fair, but I just figured I'd remind you all that this isn't something that we usually have to deal with. The SEC is full of marshmallow people. We're very soft. But that unfortunately means that some of us lack a backbone. Keyblade in particular was worried about this going public and canceling everyone in the process, and, well, again, I hadn't planned on it. Had this just been the first part of the call, I don't think things would have nearly gotten so bad, but now that this video is out there, obviously, my opinion on this has begrudgingly been swayed. Not by Heaton, mind you, before you go around blaming her for this going public key. It wasn't her idea, it was mine. So maybe you had a right to think so lowly of me after all. But after concern was raised, not helped by people sad posting on Twitter for making a big mistake as they did, or just generally their discomfort about all of this, shutting down their accounts after posting concerning tweets insinuating that they would kill themselves, Tippy, and everyone leaving commentary so publicly, I figured transparency is needed in this situation. Again, I didn't want to make this public. I would have been fine with y'all doing whatever you do within your own private chats. It would have been whatever to me. But the Streisand effect hit hard here, Key. So now everyone knows. I think I'm angrier now that I've had time to process it even a little bit than I was when everything was happening. Fucking hell. Anyway, now that this is out there, I can stress over it being out there, but I figured this would have answered the lingering questions over the Cloud Palace's sudden drop in members, for those who pay attention to that, and to answer the lingering questions from the SEC as to what happened that day. I know this is a pretty heavy video to say this on, but at the end of the day, I hope you have a good rest of your days. Take care of yourselves, and just generally, take care.